Okay, welcome back to the podcast. This is week 7's recap for what we're doing with our progress. My plans have changed a little bit over the last 7 weeks, so we're going to talk about the diet, then we're going to talk about the
Go to the script.
weight loss, the diet, and hunger, and then we're going to talk about a topic that we want to discuss. Okay, so for me, my weight last week was 221 on Sunday morning. This week I was 225. My weight has gone up significantly, but I will talk about that here in a minute whenever we get to the diet.
I am the same, 152.
So Monday I was 201 and Friday I was 198.
198. That is awesome.
Right?
So you are getting down.
But
That is-
Yeah, yeah.
0.1, so she's
Point
almost
one.
197.
No, 198.1.
That's what I'm saying. I think
I
you're
am-
almost 197.
I am
Oh.
super proud of you.
Thank you.
You are killing it.
I'm
with your
proud of
weight loss.
myself.
You are killing it.
Yeah.
What do you got?
240.8.
And what were you last week?
243.
3 pounds. See, you hit that plateau.
Sure,
You're
2.2.
still that's awesome. That's 3 pounds. You were stuck at 242, 243 for what, the last 4 weeks?
Yeah, 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it was. Like since basically the beginning.
Oh, I missed it. Good job.
Let me go.
First-
Let me go to my notes here. Okay,
It's the first time, like first week I'm actually down.
on week 3 you were 242. Actually, week 2 and 3 and 4 you were 242. Then you went to 243, 243, and then today you were 240.
Nice.
So that is absolutely awesome. So congratulations to both of you guys for
Wow.
y'all's weight loss.
Thank you.
You stalled. You plateaued. It's okay though.
Chop liver. At
So-
least I didn't go up.
Yeah, at least you didn't go up. So, okay, so now getting into the diet, we do this every single week. We're going to discuss the diet. So for me, my diet has slightly changed again.
What?
So, yep. So this week I have now reduced the carbohydrates on my off days, and I have increased them on my training days a little bit more. So every day throughout the week, I get 3.5 pounds of chicken. So that's right around 350 grams of protein per day, every single day. On Monday, Wednesday, Friday, when I train, I get roughly around, I say roughly because my dinner might vary just a little bit, but I get close to around 250 carbohydrates on my training days. My non-training days, depends on how you look at it. So I don't do rice on my non-training days. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I get 0 rice, but I do vegetables. Broccoli, carrots. That's what I'm doing this week, starting this week. So I'm going to be doing broccoli, carrots, bell peppers, vegetables. So there are carbohydrates in them. And the nutritional fact that I was looking at, it's 140 carbohydrates for the amount of vegetables I'm eating throughout the day, because I'm not getting any direct carbohydrates through like rice or bread or pasta or anything of the sort. I'm just getting it through my vegetables. Now, if you take in consideration the high fiber in the vegetables, a lot of people say like you take the amount of fiber in the vegetable and you minus that from the carbohydrates, because non-soluble fiber is carbohydrates, but that doesn't absorb like carbohydrates do, so it's not really carbohydrates. So take that for what it's worth, but it's around 140 carbohydrates for the total daily amount of vegetables that I eat. Now, what that actually is with the fiber and not fiber, I don't really care, because I'm trying to get no carbs, at least no direct carbs. So to me, vegetables, it's probably like the closest thing you can get to high volume food with the minimal amount of carbohydrates. So my carb cycling has taken it a step further by doing that. And then on Sundays, it's 500 carbohydrates. That's my high day. So I have medium day, low day. Well, yeah, medium, low, medium, low, medium, low, high, which is 500 grams of carbohydrates. And I get that in the form of white rice and lemonade, and then grits, and then I might have some bread or something like that. So as long as I hit my 500, I'm good with that and everything. So that's what my diet's doing right now. And because of that, this weekend, Saturday, I did start on the vegetables on Saturday. So I just did vegetables all day Saturday. Then Sunday, I got my 500 carbs, and I'm 100%. That's why my weight spiked so incredibly hard. I'm not worried about it, because the thing is the amount of chicken I added, because last week I added an extra pound of chicken. So I went from 2.5 pounds to 3.5 pounds of chicken, and it might be like, oh, the calories are calories in, calories out. That's why you gained 4 pounds this week. But the total amount of calories from the entire week is only 4,700 calories. So from adding a pound a day each day to my diet for chicken, I've only added 4,700 calories. It's like, oh, 4,700 is a lot. There's 1 pound. In 1 pound of fat, there's 3,500 calories. So it doesn't matter how you cut it. I did not consume 4 pounds worth of calories to put on 4 pounds worth of fat. It was not fat that I gained. I did not gain 4 pounds of fat because I physically did not eat the amount of calories required to gain 4 pounds of fat. So I know it's water retention and water weight, and it's probably actually waste, bloating, and my body holding on to more waste inside of me and stuff like that because it's more food volume. Because I'm eating 3.5 pounds a day, it's not like I'm excreting 3.5 pounds a day, but I'm consuming 3.5 pounds of meat plus all the carbs plus all the water. So there's a lot of weight inside of me. And if I didn't eat like that for 2 days, I'd probably drop 12 to 15 pounds. So I know where the weight's coming from, so I'm not really stressed about it. But that's what's going on with my weight. And the reason why my diet is changing is because my programming changed. And the goal is always, of course, to look better and be better, right? Get bigger, look better, lean out, get abs, get stronger. But I'm leaning more towards strength right now. And I want to make sure I'm eating enough food to be able to continue to get stronger because I have a goal of what I'm wanting to go to. And I know reality, I can't continuously diet down to 2,500 calories and increase my output. My metabolism's slowing down. My results are slowing down. So now I'm at the point, like, I got to get my metabolism back up. I got to build it back up. I got to get my calories up. I got to get my training more intense, and I got to get my body like burning like a well-oiled machine and burning fuel rapidly. Because if I don't do that, I know I'm going to stall hard with a 2,500 calories a day, even training 6 days a week, doing an hour and a half of cardio a day, barely losing a pound a week. I know the further you get, the harder it becomes, but that's a lot to barely be losing anything and stuff like that. So, and I know the process. So I got to kind of navigate those waters, but that's what's going on with my diet.
Mine's the same. So if you've been watching, nothing's changed.
So chicken and grits 4 times a day, intermittent fasting Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday. She free eats according to what she feels she needs for her body to recover.
Mine is also the same, intermittent fasting. So I start out with grits, eggs, and coffee, and then I do 2 meals of ground turkey and rice, and then my last meal of the day is sirloin and asparagus. So I eat from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday I wall out. But I still try to. I definitely do the treat yourself, but I still try to. I don't like that feeling of being bloated so bad. So
You try to make better choices, but you still
I'm
enjoy
smarter about what I'm splurging on for sure. So, and that's nice because I think 1 or 2 weeks ago, after a free weekend, the scale went up like 3 or 4 pounds. And I was able to get it back down really quickly. Like 2 days, I was kind of back where I was. But the last 2 weeks, the scale's only gone up like maybe 2 pounds. So, like, I can't.
But it's going down every weekend.
But it's going down. Yes.
That's the biggest
Yes.
thing. So,
So-
even enjoying yourself on the weekends, eating whatever you want, watching
And
your
I'm still
calories.
getting results.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't intermittent fast Saturday and Sunday, and you don't watch what you eat. You just track your calories, and you're still losing weight and a good amount of weight. So,
Yeah.
no,
I'm happy.
and people can say what they want, like, that's not the way you do it. You got to be blah, 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 blah. But look, results speak for themselves, right?
Yeah.
How's yours going?
Yeah, still basically doing the same thing too. I haven't changed anything. I think just as the workouts have gotten harder, that's what helped me with my 2 pounds.
Yeah. So we'll switch to hunger. My hunger is actually coming back. Whenever I first increased my food, it was very difficult to eat. I had no hunger. I was actually miserable eating. It was very hard to get all the food down. But I know my metabolism's picking up because it's getting easier to eat. And I'm actually starting to experience hunger between meals a little bit before my meals come around. So I know that the decisions that I made in the back of my mind, I might be like, this is going to take you further away from your abs and this is going the wrong direction. But I know ultimately this is going to be the best decision because once I get my metabolism back up, like it's happening, it's building up, I'll be able to work out harder because I'm eating more food. And the more I eat,
have more fuel.
The harder I can train. The harder I train, the more muscle I put on. The more muscle I put on, the more calories I burn. So it's just like it's a circle, and it just comes full circle. So I just got to make sure that I stick to my programming and my plan, and I just trust the progress, and I just keep on it and stuff like that. So my hunger is going really well.
Mine's the same too. I'm not really, well, you said you're getting hungry. I'm still just always hungry. So, Monday's not so bad except for today. It's pretty bad today. So, I don't know. Maybe the weekend messed me up. Maybe, I don't know.
Monday through Wednesday, I'm usually pretty solid. I'm not that hungry in the evenings. If I do start feeling it, I'll play cards with my daughter or just shower and go to bed and read a book or something to get my mind off it. And Thursday is a little difficult. And Friday, I'm like clawing the walls because I want to eat anything because I'm just a few hours away to freedom, right? So
Yeah.
Fridays are awful.
Mine, Mondays usually aren't bad at all lately. I guess from, again, the weekend kind of thing holding over. Tuesdays we don't work out, so I don't really have like that much issue. But Wednesday after the workout, I've started to get a little bit of hunger like later into the evening. But then Thursday again, because we don't work out, I'm able to kind of rest a little bit more. It's not an issue. And then Friday it gets kind of bad.
Yeah, a little difficult on
Yeah,
Friday.
Friday evenings, whatever. I start to like right after the workout, 30 minutes after the workout, it starts to kind of be like, a snack would be good. But
Start thinking about what you want to eat the next day, and then the next day rolls around, and you're like,
by the morning,
what I want.
by the morning though, again, it's one of those things. I go to sleep, and then by the morning, I wake up and I'm like, I'm good now. Again, it's not really like a big
It's in
deal.
your head, you know you can't eat.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Whenever I intermittent fast, like the evenings are always the worst, and you wake up in the morning, the hunger is pretty much gone. You're like, yes, I did it. I made another day.
Yeah.
Yes, I got this. And then come like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're like, I don't think I'm going to make it. And then
It's a vicious cycle.
right, and then you make it. You go to bed. You wake up the next morning. You're like, I am awesome, and then you see your results, and you're happy, and you're like, I got this, man. I got this. I'm so motivated. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock hits.
Yeah, just kill
Oh
me.
no!
Just kill me.
Yeah, it's a funny, it's just a mental game. And like I said, it's super easy to be like, well, just think about how like you can eat whatever you want. You just don't, you're choosing to eat what you don't want when you're full and satisfied. But when you're hungry, it's a lot harder.
No, I
to-
actually still tell myself that.
Right. Well, I'm saying like yes, like that's the right thing to do, and I do it too. I think everybody does. But there comes to a certain point where the hunger hits so hard, where it doesn't matter what you tell yourself. Like it's just always there, and you're just kind of like, oh, shut up. I just need to go to bed. It's not shutting up.
I'll think about, man, I can just sneak just a handful of this trail mix. Nobody would know, and I'm like, Justin would find out. And I'd be in so much trouble because he's done all this work. He talks about how, like, I'm going to put all this work into it, and then I'm going to eat this handful, and he's going to find out, and I'm going to be in so much trouble.
Well,
So I eat the handful.
yeah, so I only eat half the handful, half the time.
Two
so I'm only
hands,
eating-
but I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to make it worth it.
Oh, if I'm going to, like, cheat, I'm just going to fall off the rails.
It's
so.
like, well, I'm only going to eat half the handful, half the time. So I'm only going to be eating half of it, half of the time. So that's like a quarter of it. So it's not even that. You start doing the
Fancy math.
Yeah,
The
fancy math.
Girl math.
Okay, so let me ask you guys. We're going to switch gears. So that covers pretty much all that and everything.
Cool. There you go.
How do you guys feel about like?
Don't even say competing.
No.
If I made you sign up.
No, if I hogtied you into the back of the truck and you no. Okay, so let me ask you, how do you guys feel? Let me think of how I want to phrase this. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
We're watching the wheels turn.
Well, okay. The amount of effort, more is more, right? So simply put, more is more. Like I feel like more is more. So like I feel like if you put more effort into your diet, you get more results, right? You put more. Now we just sat here and talked about like, well, you guys free eat on the weekends, and it's like, well, I eat whatever I want on the weekends. I'm still losing weight. Okay, but that's planned into your diet. That's planned into your program. So you're still, because your cap is 2,000 a day on the weekends. You can eat whatever you want whenever, but the cap is 2,000 a day. So you know that. So you're still it's calculated into.
It's still controlled.
Right, it's controlled and it's calculated. So what I'm getting at is like if you eat, if you stick to your diet more, you get more. If you stick to your training, you get more. If you stick to your program, you get more. If you stick to your sleep, you get more. Then when you stick to your program, like to me, I feel like more work in the gym pays off more work. Like if you do more work in the gym, you have to do more work outside of the gym. So if you come in and sandbag it and you're doing like the 15-pound dumbbells and you're capable of handling the 25-pound dumbbells and you could go way harder and way more aggressively, but
I
it
feel
hurts.
totally cold out right now.
Right, but it hurts more, right? The thing is, it hurts more. But the more it hurts and the more you put into the gym, the more you have to put in outside the gym to recover to be able to train harder in the gym. So it's like more is more. Like you can't do more here and less there, and you can't do less here and more there. It has to be both. So like I feel like whenever like I said like more is like it's all the way around. Like you can't do more in one area and think like, well, I'm going to train half-heartedly, but my diet's going to cover me, or I'm going to diet half-heartedly, but my training's going to cover me. I think all the way around, like the more you do, the more like you have to do. Like for instance, me and you, we train almost 3 hours each night, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We only train 3 days a week, but it's a hell of a training session for 3 hours. And the more we put into the gym, the more we have to put in outside the gym to be ready for the next training session. Like I'm doing stretching, yoga, deep tissue. I'm making sure I'm getting my sleep, my hydration. Everything I'm doing outside of the gym is 100% dedicated to making my gym sessions even better so I can train harder. So that way I could get more out of my training, which makes me have to put more into everything else I'm doing. Have you guys noticed that? Like, have you guys had to that mindset of shift? Like, okay, well, if I do this, it's going to affect me later. If I stay up, it's going to. If I drink this, have y'all guys noticed that? Let's go in a row. Let's start with you. Have you noticed like things outside the gym you've been kind of like tightening up to make your gym sessions better, which makes your recovery harder, which makes you have to try harder to recover faster so you can get into it more?
I wish I wasn't first. I can copy some of their answers.
Okay, let's go to the other end of the table. Richard, let's go to you then.
I'm a horrible example. No, I still stay up till like lately. Like I stay up till midnight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like
Wow, I can't.
some days I'm up till like 1 a.m.
You know me, I'm a night
or whatever
owl.
for work, like, and then I go to work. But again, like I'm not overly tired at work, but work's been slow too, so I'm not really exerting a lot of work either.
Okay, so
If I had more to do at work, it might be different. But yeah, like so I've been doing that, and then again, like Tuesdays, Thursdays, I have intentions for certain things, whatever, but it's just not ever really panned out into doing anything. So I at some point it's going to build up and kind of catch up, whatever. And when that happens, I'll have to make
Do
changes,
more.
kind of thing. But
so you haven't got there yet.
yeah, until that happens. But again, like for you, the 2,500 calories that we started out, or like the two of us started out with the meals or whatever, for you, like that was like not enough.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like you needed more. And for me, I was like, this is way too much, and I'm still doing it, and it's still one of those things of like, I don't like it's still a lot for me, like whatever. Like the hunger stuff, 7 weeks in now or whatever, it's barely starting to kind of affect me on a couple of days. So it's one of those things of like I think I'm still eating enough for what I'm doing, even though we're doing mostly the same stuff in the gym. I'm like staying with you for most of the lifts. I haven't had one of those issues of like I need a little bit more yet.
Yeah, so basically, like, you haven't got to that point where your fatigue has accumulated enough for you to feel like, okay, I got to like, do some stretching or deep tissue, or I need to get a little bit more sleep or hydration. So you haven't really had to like, really like your food and the way you're training, the way your lifestyle is, you haven't had to make any big like accommodations.
Again, too, like I say it's a mixture because of work or whatever. Like previously, I would work weekends and stuff like that, and if I was having to do that, then yeah, I probably wouldn't be up till midnight and stuff like that. But I'm off pretty much every weekend for months now, which is a bit of a difference. And so, like when it comes to the weekend, I'm able to sleep in till 9, roughly. Like I'll wake up around 6ish or whatever. That's the time I usually wake up. But I'll be like, oh, it's the weekend. Like I'm gonna roll back over. So I roll over and again sleep off and on again until 8:30, 9 o'clock, where I'm like, all right, I'll get out of bed.
But you do feel like there is going to come a point where your fatigue is going to accumulate, especially if work picks up. But like right now with the loads that you're pushing, you feel you're recovering adequately enough not to really change anything dramatically in your day to day, where you've had to focus more on like the outside gym, prehab, rehab type stuff.
Yeah, because I still haven't. There's only been a couple of days in the past 7 weeks or whatever, like 1 or 2 days where I've been like, man, I need a nap. Kind of thing. And
Oh, that's every
so
day for me.
I because before, like I used to take naps after work every day. Like when I lived across the street and we worked out as soon as you got home, and I was only home for like maybe 15 minutes before you got here or whatever, I'd be over at the house
Just passed out.
out. And I'd be like, yeah, and I needed that every day. But since like a bulk of the weight coming off over the past year and everything, it's been a lot less of an issue for me.
Okay, so let me ask you, I know that your neck gets a little crunchy and stuff like that. Have you noticed any joint discomfort or any like tight muscles causing like joint like where you've had to like take a little extra time to stretch out or to like roll out or try to like massage out and stuff like that? Because that also counts as doing more outside the gym to get you ready for the gym. Because if your knees are achy or your shoulders are aching, you have to do extra stuff to kind of get them loose and mobile, like doing mobility work. That still leads up to like, okay, I'm doing more outside the gym to make my gym session even better and stuff. So have you done anything like that?
So not particularly, like, so at work I've messed around a little bit because we have a large, like, 10-pound freaking soft load hammer or whatever, and I'll do like a shoulder rock thing, kind of just messing with it at work every now and then. But I think, like, because we spent so long doing the 6 days a week, working on everything 2 times a week sort of thing, that eventually caught up to me to like where a lot of my shoulder issues was just like constantly twice a week doing those exercises every week, and now that I get that break in between, I don't really have as much like pain or issue when we do the shoulder exercises and like I used to. So I think having that rest in between, and then also another big change is, so you've done like pre-workout stretches off and on fairly often, like when we go to work out and stuff, and I kind of mess around with them every now and then. But lately, for the program that we've started doing, you added it into where every workout you're kind of doing that, and I took it upon myself to kind of go like, well, you know what, he's gonna be doing it anyway, so I'll do like my own little version of it or whatever. And so I'm kind of doing that stuff, and it's helping me because, again, like the hack squats, I used to need like a knee sleeve or something like that for the hack squat because my knee would hurt doing the hack squat. Didn't matter how light the weight was or whatever. It was just like there was a pain, like a joint pain sort of thing. And now, again, it's not much of an issue, but it could be, again, also a thing of less time a week in there, not every day.
Your joints have more time for recovery, and like you're not accumulating as much joint fatigue and stuff like that.
That compounded with the amount of food intake and everything, that's all kind of helped me, and I haven't had that in a long time. So that's why I'm basically like living a little outside my means right now. But again, it'll eventually catch up and hit me, and I'll be like, gotta start getting back to bed at like 9:30. Things like that. And then the other thing too is like sticking to the meals, doing the meals throughout the day. I don't mind doing the meals, and intermittent fasting does work great, but I am a guy that's like really, it's like, I like doing 3 meals, 2 to 3 meals a day. That's me. It sucks sometimes just going like, all right, freaking 9:15 break, gotta eat. 11 o'clock break, gotta eat. Freaking 1 o'clock break, gotta eat. And never really like having those times, like when I am working or whatever, to just be like, all right, I can chill for a second. Because it's like, no, I got to go hurry up and eat and then try to get this down real quick before, break-ins.
Well, you can always take it, put it in a blender, and then you just make it like a little, smoothie.
Ew.
Well, if you take chicken and you boil chicken down and then put rice and then chicken broth in there, and you do that, it's
it's like chicken noodle soup.
Just like chicken
not
noodle soup,
but-
yeah, and you can drink it down just like chicken noodle soup. It tastes just the same, and instead of a protein shake, you can get that and then do that instead. A lot of people, including myself, used to do that whenever I had to eat so much food. I was eating every hour and a half, 2 hours. You get tired of chewing. So you're just like, I got to figure something else out. So I was doing that for a while.
I was looked at weird when I was younger and said chewing sucks.
Well, chewing that much does suck. So what about you? Have you noticed anything you're doing outside the gym to help you recover, to have better sessions in the gym, and fear of like being able to hold yourself back? And then on top of that too, speaking on the, like, I know what you're doing, and then you're in the videos with me. Y'all don't really get in the workout videos and stuff like that, but have you noticed that through yourself, because you're still extremely new to working out, this is your 7th week recap on 7 weeks of working out, and this is the first time you legitimately ever actually like trained like this in your life. So being 7-week newbie, and then like, have you noticed like the payoff of like, okay, yeah, it sucks and it hurts when I push these heavier weights, but it's doable. It's hard, but it's doable. It's not impossible, but it is doable. Have you noticed the payoff and the return that you get out of pushing yourself harder versus like sandbagging? Then the next week it's like, oh, this is still difficult. Oh, this is still difficult.
It's nice I keep like a spreadsheet of my rep, what's it called? My best rep, my high.
PR.
Yeah.
No, your top set.
Top set.
Oh,
So it's nice to watch those.
Well, for her, it's all PRs and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true. Haha. It's nice to watch the weights increase. And well, like even today, she's like, why are you starting with those? I start with these. I was like, I can't finish with that. And she's like, yeah, yes, you can. Just Like, you're stronger than you think you are. Just try it. And guess what? I did 12 reps. So, I mean, I'm going to pay for them tomorrow, but you know.
That's the point.
So I am noticing things that hurts that I've like never had hurt before. Like this right here is really bothering me today from the press.
Yeah, the pec minor.
And the
Those guys.
butterflies. I call them the butterflies. I have my own nicknames for all of the
Yeah,
workouts.
dumbbell flies. That's
Yeah.
dumbbell flies. So
That's pretty close to my nickname. And you've given me some pointers on some things to work out, like that thing in my elbow where I need to do the golf ball. I get home and I get lazy. I'm not just laying around, but I would rather, I don't know. I would rather, seriously, I'd rather be in pain than fix it. Okay. But I'm noticing.
So hold on, let me touch on that. It sucks because like when you're in pain and you have like muscular pain or knots, it's like, okay, this hurts, but the pain I have to go through to get out of this pain is way worse. But it's a lot shorter. So it's like, okay, I could do deep tissue for about 15 minutes and be in a lot of pain and break these knots up and then have relief from here on out until I knot back up, which could be a couple weeks. Or I can just sit here and suffer through this for days and days and days
the whole time.
and hope it loosens up and not get worse. And generally it gets worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that rough mindset of like, and I notice it takes energy to go through that pain, right? You have to have energy to go through pain. Like even for working out, to have a great hard workout, you have to have enough energy. So the same thing for workout muscle knots. Like if you're tired and exhausted, the last thing you want to do
Is go through
a massive, you want to rest, you want to relax, you want comfort. You don't want like, okay, cool. Now let's start taking this rigid ball and start just jamming it into my knots and leaning against the wall and just really hurting myself just to have a little bit of, well, a lot of relief. But I know the mindset 100%. Like you're preaching to the choir. you
Yeah.
know?
I know it would help me in the end, but to muster up the strength to do it, right? And I need to just get a gun and let Alyssa,
A massage gun.
Yeah.
Massage gun.
a massage gun and let my daughter just work them out. But
They really make a massive difference.
so
when it comes to
that is what I'm noticing more and more. It started out with my elbow, like when I'm grabbing my cup, I can like, ooh, even just doing it with nothing, I can feel it. And I know that's coming from here.
Yeah.
I notice it
You gotta
here,
pinch it.
my shoulder, you know, I'm noticing these little areas that need to be worked on as a result of working out and pushing myself. And I try to think about active recovery and things I do around the house or with the dogs or
You also need to look at doing corrective stretching too. So like if you're tight in an area, you got to figure out why you're tight and what you need to stretch to loosen that up so it can relax. So corrective stretching is really awesome too. A lot of people overlook stretching. I stretch before every training session, like Richard was saying earlier, and a lot of people like
I need to get better at
and
that.
a lot of people like it's 50-50. Like people say don't stretch because you're going to lose your stretch reflex and that helps you be stronger. But for me, if I can't get into a position comfortable because I'm stiff, it makes my workout worse. So I'd rather loosen up, lose a couple pounds on the barbell and have a better workout, which is going to exchange into better results versus being stiff and not being able to have a good workout because
Yeah.
I'm in pain.
Yeah.
So like learning how to do corrective stretching would help you out dramatically too and stuff. So, but so you have noticed that you do need to do a little extra out of the gym to get more out of the gym, but there's a part of you that's kind of like on the fence of like, I need
Super
to do
hesitant
this,
to do
but
it,
I'm
yeah.
not really quite there yet where I feel like it's a need. It would be beneficial, but I'm not really noticing a big benefit from coming from it yet. You'll get there eventually.
I'm very quickly approaching that point because there's a couple work exercises. I think my arms should be straighter, but I have to bend them because I just can't do it on this side. So it's like, okay, now I'm just prohibiting myself, and I might hurt myself if I'm doing it wrong, like really wrong. Kind of thing is where I'm thinking also. And like sleep, I've always been a person that I have to get my 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep a night or I just can't function. So now I just go to bed. It's like 7 o'clock and I'm like, is it too early? Is it too early to go to bed? And
It's never too early.
my daughter's like, yes, at least wait until 8. Be respectable.
No, get your food in, hit the sack. If you could do
Yeah,
it, do it.
I,
Make it happen. If
I
there's
could-
nothing stopping you, then the more sleep you get, the more results you're going to get.
I definitely am a person that needs my sleep. So that has not been an issue for me ever.
That's good. What about you?
Well, I'm kind of opposite. I'm a person that needs my alone time, and that's when everyone's asleep. So I stay up really late watching my phone because I want that little bit of time where I can really just enjoy.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah,
Watch
I
what
don't
you
really
want.
right, and without any distraction, without any noise. Kids, husband,
Mm-hmm.
living room. So
Well, we got 3 kids, so it's kind of hard to have any type of quiet time. Now, you
Right.
work all day, and then when you get home, the kids are home from school. Well, you work from home, but when you get off of work, kids are home. And so it's
Then I
loud.
work out, and then it's just constant until everyone.
And there's
goes to
always
bed.
something that you need to go, need to do, need to fix, need to buy, need to help. There's always something going on where it's never just like sit and relax and stuff.
So I
like that.
definitely stay up later than I should. I know that, but it's worth it to me because I enjoy that probably more than I do a little extra sleep. And for me, I would say I've noticed that. Well, I've been having you roll my.
Yeah, you've been doing a lot of deep tissue work.
I need to, and he's forced me. So I'm kind of like him, like I don't
Well,
want to do that, but
I-
he's like, no, we need to. Let's just do it. And he's right because it's like I was at the point where I couldn't even sit or move. Like my back was hurting me so bad.
Yeah.
And he took the bar to me and rolled it out. And the next day was just so much relief. Like I was like, why did I prolong this so much? Like I should have just done it. Like,
Yeah,
Just suck it up and grind it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that, like I said, it takes energy to be willing to go through that pain to be able to get out of pain, because you have to go further past the point of where you're hurting to be able to get out of that pain, which sucks. But I've been trying to like tell her, but I'm not going to force anyone to do anything. It's not my style. Like you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink. And it's one of those things I've been telling her. It's like, you're going to get to a point where you're going to break and you're going to finally be like, okay, what do I need to do? I'm willing. And once you get to that point and you go through that, and then it sucks and it hurts, but the relief that follows it, it's like, okay, how can I prevent from coming back to this place? It's like, well, stay on top of it. Do your tissue work. Like I do tissue work every single week. I do yoga, I stretch, I do corrective stretching throughout the day, and then I do tissue work at least once a week, every single week. I roll out my pecs, my biceps, my delts. I roll out my my glutes, my quads, my hips, everything. I always do tissue work. I've had this instilled in me from 12 years ago whenever I got into powerlifting and my knees were hurting me real bad, and I did tissue work on my knees, and then the next day my knees didn't bother me. And then I had a pain-free squat session, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, this is way better.
Yeah, all my connective tissue and all my muscles were just so knotted and gritty that everything was just pulling on everything, and it just hurt. And my kneecaps weren't lined up because all the tight muscles were pulling. And whenever I finally did that, and it relieved the patella tendon, and the kneecap was finally like not being stressed and strained, and I had a pain-free squat, it's just like, yeah, okay, cool. So last year in October, whenever I hurt my knee, of course, like I did tissue work, but there's only so much I could handle because of my knee, like the patella tendon, everything. I hyperextended it, so it took a long time to get the inflammation, the mobility back, the range of motion back. Then I was able to start applying load, and then I was able to start applying serious tissue work. So it took a long time, but now I'm back to the point where I'm rolling out my quads with a 100-pound bar, and that's my tissue work, like a 100-pound stagnant weight. It's what I use for my deep tissue on my legs, and it hurts. It never feels good. It's never like, oh yes, wonderful, right? It's always like you're on the verge of like, oh why, no, right? You're always on the verge of taking it off, but then you just have to breathe through it and like, yeah, this hurts real bad, but when you get done, you're gonna have a week of pain-free knees, sitting, standing, bending, twisting, turning, squatting, deadlifting. Then the pain's not going to be there. So
is this your turn?
yeah. So anyway, sorry. So I was just capping just what's on my mind. So anyway, so continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to hijack your.
Yeah, I was gonna say like like it's me, you, and the scale. So no, I'm just kidding. Another thing too is I've noticed that I am starting to do more outside the gym. Like I'm walking, and now I'm like adding in running, like running a little bit, doing a little extra cardio because I feel like I need to do more. So I guess I'm kind of at that point where I feel like I need to do more to get more.
Yeah, and building your cardiovascular through running is going to help build your endurance on the weight. So it's like if you're gassing at like 12 reps and then you build up your cardiovascular through jogging, then it's not an issue of your cardio endurance no more. It's an issue of muscle fatigue. And muscle fatigue isn't the same as cardiovascular fatigue, because if you're doing a set of, let's say, hack squats and you're after 4 reps, that's not muscular fatigue, that's cardiovascular. Your heart can't keep up. So if you build up your cardiovascular, then you can handle more volume and you can recover quicker between your sets, which allows you to work out faster and handle heavier loads, because your cardiovascular can handle the blood demand and the flow. So it all works together. It all adds up to the one
Same
big
with
deal.
like riding the bikes. When we would first start riding bikes, I would like make it like halfway down the street,
About half a mile or so.
half a mile, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I can't. My legs would hurt. Like I would be like, nope. And now we're riding 3 miles, and I'm just fine. The only time I have issues is at the day after leg day, and it's literally because I'm sore and like
Yeah.
I'm like, but I'm getting the blood flowing in there. But it's the only day I kind of like, all right, let's kind of like
Make it
go
a shorter
back.
one.
Like I don't, but I'm still like, let's rather than keep going longer than like just because sometimes we'll do that. I'm like, nah, I think it's time to cut it. And he's usually kind of like, yeah, because he's sore too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sore until Wednesdays. Normally my legs. Like Mondays, I train my lower body, and I'm sore till Wednesday normally. So it's pretty brutal. So for me, my mindset is always more is more. I don't care what you say. More is always more. The more you do, the better you're going to be. You're never going to do, like, people talk about junk volume. Oh, that's junk volume. That's junk. I don't think there's such thing as a wasted rep. Like, it's either going to work towards your endurance, your cardiovascular, your conditioning. That I don't believe now. You can sit there and argue like, well, if you're doing 20 sets of 50 reps, that's junk volume. Well, it depends on what you're training for. Are we talking specifically bodybuilding or powerlifting or strongman or CrossFit or marathons or arm wrestling? What are we talking about, right? So it depends on the individual's needs, their goals, and what they're going after. So don't sit there and throw up like, well, this is my belief, so my beliefs is 100% what everyone else's beliefs would be. So I don't believe in junk volume. I do believe that there is a point that you can push in, and it's going to sound super contradictory, but I do believe that there is a point that you can push to the edge of like, okay, this is exactly my threshold of recovery. And if I do a little bit more, I'm going to spill over, and then I'm going to start getting diminishing returns where I'm not getting out of this. I'm actually just building up fatigue to the point of where it's actually causing more harm than good. Then that requires you to sleep more, eat more, drink more, recover more, do more tissue work, stuff outside the gym to make your gym sessions better. But again, like I said, I do believe there's a point of diminishing returns, but it depends on the individual. It depends on their lifestyle. It depends on what they eat and what they drink and what their overall goal and intention is. Like, you're not going to train triathlon athlete like you would train a strongman, and you're not going to train a strongman like you would train a bodybuilder. You're not going to train a bodybuilder like you train a CrossFit or a swimmer or a golfer or a tennis player, right? The football players, right? It depends on what you're going. Someone who needs high repetition volume over and over, like football players that take high, like they need to be strong, but they also need to be explosive. But they also need endurance to play a 3-hour game, and they need to constantly be able to push off that line and push off that line and push off that line. So they need a lot of repetitions because they have to have that cardiovascular endurance, and they have to have that recovery where they can keep going and going and going and going. So it depends on your sport and your field and what you do is what would you consider like, oh, that's junk volume. So I don't look at it like that. Like, but I do believe there is a threshold, and it depends. There is a point where you can get to where it's like, okay, like you're not. Like, this is diminishing returns. All you're doing is accumulating more fatigue. Like, for instance, I will speak of powerlifting. If you do a max effort deadlift every single week, you're going to accumulate so much fatigue. You're going to have diminishing returns because you're going to be fatigued. It's one of the hardest things to recover from. Absolute hardest thing to recover from. It attacks your body harder than any other movement. So if you're sitting there going like, well, I'm going to max out every single week. Okay, well, it's only a matter of time before you crash and burn, you get hurt, or you just start going backwards. Because you can't continuously max out. You could do max effort work every week, but max effort work is different than maxing out. Yeah, maximum effort is like, okay, I'm going to do a variation of the lift and a different kind of the lift, which still carries over to the lift, but in a different way. And that's a way to offset fatigue. But you can't continuously push 100% on anything because eventually you're going to hit that threshold. So like I said, there's a point of diminishing return, but I always believe that more is more. The more you put into anything, the more you're going to get out of it. So if you're holding yourself back and you can do the 50s, but you're picking up the 40s, you're doing a disservice to yourself. If you're capable of jogging for 1.5 miles and you jog a mile because you don't want your lungs to burn that bad, you're doing yourself a disservice. If you can squat 100 pounds more than what you're doing for a set of 10, but you know what, I could squat 200 for 10, but 150 is comfortable, and I could do that and not be tired, and I won't breathe hard, and I won't be exhausted, and my muscles won't burn, and I won't be sore tomorrow.
Yeah, like you're not doing anything.
Right, you're doing yourself. Now, if you're in a maintenance stage and you're like, okay, well, I just want to maintain this. Okay, yeah, absolutely. But there is a point where you're going to detrain yourself, and I've done this, and I've had many people that have done this, and they'll go, all right, I'm going to push up to a certain amount, and I'm going to hurt. I'm going to be willing to hurt in the gym. And what I mean hurt was the burning, the muscle soreness, the aches, the pains, everything that comes along with training. And then they go one day, they go, okay, I'm benching I'm just going to throw a number out there, arbitrary number. I'm going to bench 225. All right, cool. I got 225 for 8. And then you come in next week and you're like, you know what? I was supposed to go for 9 or 10. I'm kind of tired. I think I'm only going to bench 215 today. And they bench 215. The next week they come in, they're warming up. Like, man, this kind of feels a little heavy too. I think I'm only going to bench up to 205 today. And the next week they come in like, oh man, this is feeling heavy. I think I'm going to bench 185 because I'm tired. It's because they built and accumulated so much fatigue that their body's on a downhill spiral. And if they just took off from the gym, worked on their recovery, they would feel better and they could go back to it. But then they detrain themselves, and every week they come in, they feel more tired and more exhausted, and they keep lifting lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, and their results go backwards. And then one day they're having an epiphany like, oh man, I've lost so much strength. I need to start building it back up. And when they have that epiphany, it's because they finally backed off so much that their body fully recovered, and now they're feeling the energy's coming back, the motivation's coming back, the wheels getting like, okay, we need to push because man, what am I? And then they can't even bench.
Yeah, like I was
225
doing
anymore.
this. How did I get here?
Right, and they
Yeah.
detrain themselves. But that's again accumulating so much fatigue and pushing yourself too hard for too long, and then you get diminishing returns because you pushed past that threshold, and there was spillover. So you got to kind of know where that line's at. But like I said, like more is more. As long as you're not going past that, and play devil's advocate, you don't know where that line is until you've passed it. And once you've passed it 1 or 2 times, then you get a real appreciation for like, okay, like I need to push, and I could give myself about 10 to 12 weeks of solid, hard, but in a program that builds up to it to get to a peak. And then I'm going to throttle down, give my body a little bit of a break, kind of back off some, and then throttle back into it. So like I said, but you're never going to convince me that like going to the gym, if you're capable of lifting more weight for more reps, it's going to do more harm than good. Yeah. Like I said, and this sounds super contradictory, but I think everyone understands who's been lifting knows exactly what I'm getting at. If you're capable of doing more, do more, because you're going to get more out of it. But that's,
yeah.
If that didn't go back and forth too much, like it's hard because I can't stand on one side of the line and be like, this is it, because there's so many variations and so many variants. But trying to make sense of it and try to explain it is harder to talk about it than it is to put it to practice. And once you put it to practice, you understand, and it's like, okay, yeah, no, this totally makes sense. So
yeah,
but that ain't confused. All right, that made sense.
Made sense to me. Yeah.
Does anyone want to add anything or
No.
I mean, it's pretty simple. You do more, you get more.
Right. The more you put in, the more you put out.
Yeah. Just keep it simple. Yeah.
Yep. Just don't exert yourself too far past that line of recovery.
Right. Yeah. I feel like I have a ways to go before I find that line.
Yeah.
Or it may have been at the 20-pound dumbbells today. It's probably my line.
Yeah, like, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometime, you get what you need.
Oh my God.
I hate it
now.
here.
Let me get a hey now. Did I get a hey now?
Hey now.
There it is.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Oh, here we go with the sound effects again.
So, yeah, like I said, I just feel like there's not enough people that push themselves hard enough. And I feel like the reason why most people stall out is because they're afraid to push to that line. And most people have never even reached that line, and they never even hit that point of that threshold to sit there and go like, okay, this I found it. And then on the other side of the coin, there's a lot of people that hit that threshold so many time after time after time, and they can't figure out like when to stop and pull back. Like this is too far. And it's a trial and error thing, and it takes time, and you'll get there eventually maybe not everybody, but I think most people will kind of like figure it out. But that's why like it's cool to have a coach or a training program or that you can follow for X amount of time, because no program's going to work forever. Eventually you're going to have to pull off.
You got
and
to
do
change
different.
something.
Yeah, something's going to always have to change. So it's just
And I appreciate y'all pushing me. Like every couple of weeks, you'll be like, do more.
Oh yeah.
Just try harder.
Yep.
Like,
And
well,
she
it's
still does it. No, I'm just kidding.
heavy. But then I always feel good when I go up and weight. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it becomes addicting. Seeing that weight move up, it's
Yeah.
like, man, look at where I started to where I am now, and how much further can I go?
It's an awesome feeling.
Yep. So I think that's going to be it for me on this one. I don't really know what else I could add to that without going back and contradicting myself a fifth time. So if there's anything you guys want to add to it or anything y'all want to chime in about.
That's it for me.
Good.
Good.
Okay, that's going to be it for
Words.
this
Hard.
recap. I appreciate everyone who's made it to this point of the video. Hopefully I didn't confuse y'all too much and be like, this guy is an idiot and he's contradicting himself. I know, I said this is going to sound contradictory, but thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.